All right, welcome everyone. My name is Ezra and I am an employer engagement manager here at WGU working in our career and professional development office. And I'm really excited for today's session. I will introduce folks in a minute, but I do want to go over just a few housekeeping items. As you maybe just heard or saw, or both, we will be recording this session. All of our sessions we do upload to our YouTube channel, which you can find at a later time. I will also follow up with a link. So if you want to go back to anything or want to rewatch it for funsies, you can do so. The other thing too is please be sure to use that mute function. It just helps minimize disruptions. Once we get to the question portion of our session, you are welcome to unmute and use that raise hand feature and ask your question. You can also post your questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring those and then we'll be able to ask them at the end. Last but not least, I do have a very, very short survey for participants at the end, so I'll add that in the chat and send it in the follow-up email. Please take a minute to fill out those 2 questions. We really appreciate it. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and hand it over to the team at CBIZ. And Carly, I'll start with you and have you do introductions and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen. We have introductions prepared and ready for you. And I'm actually going to have Zach kick it off to start. So let me share my screen. If I can just get Zach, if you want to give like a thumbs up or yell at me if you can see this, we'll be good to
There
go.
it is.
Boom. All right. There you go.
Perfect. All right. Hey, friends. Howdy, howdy. My name is Zach Stroth, he, him pronouns. I sit out of Kansas City. So rocking, well, I technically live 5 feet from the border, but I'm on Missouri side, but I park in the Kansas side. So best of both worlds. I am a senior campus recruiter. I recruit for our Phoenix and Seattle offices. And so if you're an intern, if you're looking for an internship or a first year role in those markets, I'm your guy. And a little bit about myself is I went to undergrad at Kansas State University and I did my master's at TCU down in Texas. And I actually have hired quite a few of GCU students for our offices for our internship. So stoked to be here with you all today. And I'll pass it on to my next friend. Sorry, Miss Riley.
Hello, everybody. My name is Riley Baker. I am an associate campus recruiter as part of our campus recruiting team. I am based in warm and sunny Boston, Massachusetts, and I recruit for our New England region, so our Boston and Providence offices. Again, all things entry level, so interns, associates, things like that. And a little about me. I'm from the East Coast, but actually went to college on the West Coast. So have crossed paths with a lot of the places I saw listed here in the chat, and enjoyed the chance to drive cross country coming back east. So I'll pass it over to Carly next.
Thanks, Riley. So I am Carly Azar. I'm one of our campus recruiters here at CBIZ. I work out of our Indianapolis office, so I am here today, but I also recruit for our Chicago locations. We have 2 locations in Chicago, a location in Deerfield, and then a few various locations here in Indiana. So part of the Central Region team, but we are just 3 recruiters out of a large team of, I think, like 18 now. So we have offices all across the US. We'll get into that later. A little history about me: born and raised in Indiana. I did not see Indiana represented in the chat. I won't hold it against you, and nor do I blame you. But I'm from Indiana. I've worked in my role for 7 years. So same as Zach and Riley kind of described, hiring for entry-level positions, specifically those who are majoring and focused in accounting. But we do have other types of positions that take a variety of different majors too. Oh, there we go, Carissa. You're in Indiana. Okay, drive safe. That snowstorm was atrocious, and let's hope that it doesn't hit again. But very excited to be here today. So let's go ahead and we'll get this party started here. I'm going to click over to the next slide and talk a little bit more about who we are. Oh, I love Detroit, Michigan. My whole family's from Detroit. Another fun fact there. So, we are CBIZ. In case you were wondering how to pronounce our name, we are a leading professional service advisor for middle market businesses nationwide. We offer a large variety of different expertise, whether that's in accounting, tax advisory, also benefits and insurance, and even technology. So you can kind of say that we do it all, and we'll get into that a little bit more in depth, but we're really forward thinking. We definitely try to be that one-stop shop to help all of our clients, whether they're navigating challenges, trying to optimize those opportunities, or simply to drive growth, right? Happy clients, happy CBIZ. With over 10,000 team members in over 160 locations, 21 markets, CBIZ definitely delivers an industry expertise, but we pride ourselves on having a local touch. We're excited to actually be the top 7th largest accounting provider nationally, but we still manage to maintain that local, more mid-sized feel at our offices to try to provide that culture not only to our clients, but also to the people that work here. Going a little bit more in depth into those locations, we'd love to see where all of you are from. And here is a very high level glance at all of our different locations. So we probably have an office close to, if not all of you, but most of you. So here's just a quick look. Overall, our offices range in different sizes. Some states even have more than one location. You can see there's definitely a heavy concentration there in California and New York. I see the no income tax. I think I'm going to move to Florida at some point. I feel like that needs to be on my list. And thank God we have Florida locations to go to, right? So we have a variety of offices here. And similar to our amount of office locations, we have clients, variety of sizes, every single state in the US. So it really just provides you a wide opportunity to get to know a variety of client sizes, different types of industries, which I know we're going to get into here later on. But check out that map. If you're interested in a position, we have recruiters assigned to a number of different locations. If you didn't hear the location mentioned in our intro that you're interested in, have no fear. We'll have a QR code here at the end where you can look up all of our open positions throughout the US and be able to apply, and the appropriate recruiter will get back with you. So now I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Riley to talk a little further.
Thanks, Carly. So as Carly mentioned a moment ago, here at CBIZ, we are more than just a public accounting firm. We really are truly a professional services firm. Accounting and tax are just a piece of the services that we offer. So as you can see here, we do have a significant portion of our business within financial services, but we also do have large teams within advisory, benefits and insurance, and technology as well. The cool thing about some of these teams is that they are on a national level. So we have our national advisory practice as well as benefits and insurance. And as Carly was talking about with our office locations, some of these service lines as well are more prominent in certain offices. So that's something to keep an eye out when you're looking at our positions. And really, as Carly was mentioning before, our goal is to be truly that one-stop shop for many of our clients' businesses, so we can help them throughout multiple areas here. I think someone may be off mute with some music right now. I don't know. Oh, I think we're good. Awesome. So Carly, if you want to go to the next slide here. So within all of those services that we offer, we are proud to support clients across virtually all industries. Certain offices or regions may have particular industries that they work closer with, just being where they are in the market that they're within. However, as a firm, we pride ourselves in our ability to adapt to the changing landscape and continue to train our team members to be subject matter experts in supporting clients across all industries. Within our intern and associate programs, we really help you to gain exposure to clients across these areas so you can identify where your interests are and not feel like you're cornered from day one to a particular area.
Awesome possum. Okay, my turn. So Sorry, that was so corny. Anywho, y'all, this is so fun for me to talk about. So, when we talk about mission statements and vision statements, every organization that you come across will have one. I'll be honest with you, most of them are all going to say the same thing. But the thing about CBIZ is if you dial it back just a little bit, right? You look at it face value and you see that we've got these 5 kind of pillars right there. We're doing the right thing. Our people matter. We're dedicated to the success of our clients. We expect to win, and we're #1 CBiz. Peel back that onion one layer, and you're gonna. Sorry, I said take my gum out. You're gonna recognize that we are very people centric. It's about people, right? Because you can choose to work with any firm. You can go anywhere. Public accounting is not a niche like topic. The work's generally the same wherever you go. But when you look at the firm that you're working for, these values stand out. And so when we think about, okay, I'm going to spend 40 plus hours of my week with these people doing this job. So what stands out to me? And so some of the things I wanted to highlight here that I think speak to us as CBiz, the first thing is like doing the right thing, right? And so I think in life we got a lot of shortcuts we can do. We can use Chat GPT for a lot now. And we can also be like, that can go on next week. But when you have a supportive, collaborative team, you're able to do the right thing and do it well. And when you do the right thing, you don't have to keep redoing it. So you're not spinning the wheel 15,000 times. And you're also not reinventing the wheel either. When you think about our people mattering, you think to busy seasons. So those are long and arduous. Depending on what type and size of firm you go to, you may hear the horror stories of I have a cot in my office and I sleep there all week, or for like the whole busy season. That is scary and not fun. We don't do that. And so it's how do you treat our people during the busy times, but also in the slow times. And so what that looks like for us is I've been able to help recruit, obviously for Phoenix and Seattle, but I've also worked with our Denver office, our Rhode Island, our Providence and Boston, our Texas, California offices. And in each office, you will see these little things happen where it's, hey, here's a busy season meal. So you have X amount of dollars per day for Uber Eats. You are doing a retreat or a holiday party at a really cool location. You're getting this benefit or that benefit. And so everything that we do ties back to you and your overall wellness. And you're going to hear in just a little bit more about how we treat our people and what matters about that. Then you look at the client aspect of it. And like I said, public accounting, everyone does it. Like it's similar work. So it's how your clients choose you. And our clients keep coming back to us and are sticking with us because of the way that we are dedicated to their success. We're staying on top of everything going on in the world, the newest technology, the newest regulations, laws, processes, all those things to make sure that we are treating you the best we can. Because plot twist, the next value, we expect to win. That song, all we do is win, win, win. Literally, I wake up every morning to that song in my head. I don't, but I could. But with that, you want that mentality, right? You don't want to work somewhere where you're like, oh, another day doing this. No, you want to be genuinely excited about going to work and winning the day. If you're a K-State fan, win the dang day. But it is so important to us that we do the best we can and recognizing that we are one CBiz, right? And so one of the things that stands out to me is Carly's going to talk about it here in a second with our acquisition. But with the new merger or acquisition of Markham, we are like HR team alone, right? Just focusing on HR is so big. We're hosting all these calls as like meet and greets. And I know that sounds absolutely painful to do and be stuck on a virtual meet and greet, but they're actually not that bad. And it helps you to like really connect with your coworkers and say, oh, dang, you also saw Wicked 6 times in theaters. I've seen it 5. What's your favorite part? And so then you start to grow those connections and you're seeing that, yes, miles separate us, offices separate us, roles even separate us. But on the human level, we have connection. And that's going to make going to work so much more fun. And so when you look at those mission and vision statements, like I said, take it at face value, peel it back a layer and see what's underneath it. So that's a little bit about that. But I'm going to throw it back over to Carly so she can tell you a little bit more exciting stuff around our acquisition.
I'll tell you, Zach, you got me pumped and going. for our values. And I work here, but I was like, yeah, we are one CBIZ. I was ready. I forgot I had to present. But speaking of the acquisition, just some exciting news that we feel is really important to mention because we know we have students from a variety of different locations. You may have heard of Markham. Markham was a fantastic accounting firm here in that mid-level market, and we recently acquired them a few months ago. So we're still undergoing some of those transitional phases, but we are just so excited to have them join. And it really is more of a true partnership as well. The best part of an acquisition like this, Markham came with 3,000 employees and 3,000 great employees who have great ideas, a great way of doing things that CBIZ could learn from. So I think it's just exciting for us to be able to mention that to you all. If you're familiar with Markham or CBIZ, to just know that once again, like Zach brought out, we've now become one CBIZ. And it's really just brought even a wider expansion of our service offerings, expertise, more importantly, opportunities for all of you, increased locations. And through that acquisition is how we were able to become now that 7th largest accounting firm nationwide. And selfishly, Riley, Zach, and I have a lot more friends on the recruiting team. Some of them are here with us right now listening in. So we're just really excited and wanted to share that news with you all as well.
Yes, it is certainly an exciting time here at CBIZ with a lot of new friends and a lot of new things on the horizon. Something we've already been doing is really focusing on our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. A huge part of this that is very tangible to our employees on a day-to-day level is our employee resource groups. So CBIZ has developed 4 employee resource groups, or ERGs, and all team members are eligible to participate in these. These groups are really meant to provide an opportunity for you to find community within the firm and find those that you identify with, whether that's based on shared identity or attributes or experiences or whatever that may be. They're really a place to find support, celebrate successes, and are also just a host for personal, professional growth that you're looking for within the firm. The 4 ERGs that we currently have are CBIZ BIPOC, CBIZ Pride, CBIZ Women's Advantage, and CBIZ Young Professionals. And each of these groups was founded on a national level and hosts meetings and speaker series and things like that firm-wide. However, individual offices also have chapters for these groups as well, which host local events and provide a sense of community and an opportunity for leadership as well on a local level. So I'd love to share a little bit more about each one of these. Carly, can we move to the next slide? Awesome. So our first ERG here is CBIZ BIPOC, which is our group for Black, Indigenous, and people of color. It fosters a sense of solidarity among team members who identify with this group and really aims to create more of a sense of belonging within the firm. Their mission statement is having a special focus on fostering inclusion to support well-being, advancement, and retention to CBIZ. So their goal here is to amplify BIPOC voices, increase visibility into different cultures and traditions, and also just to provide a space to connect. They host monthly meetings on a national level, and it allows you to get to know people who you might identify with in other offices. Here in our Boston and Providence offices, our local chapter of CBIZ BIPOC has put on some great events. This year, a couple highlights were our Juneteenth reception, where we brought in food from some local businesses and learned more about the meaning behind this holiday. And then this fall, the ERG also hosted a Diwali lunch in October, which was really great. They brought in some food as well, and we had the chance to connect and learn from our team members who do celebrate that holiday, more about their traditions and really just the culture overall that surround it. So really cool opportunities for engagement, both within the group, but also events they host more for the greater community as well. So I'll pass it off to Zach here to share with us more about CBIZ Pride.
Awesome. Thanks, Riley. So I think when we think about public accounting, we don't really think queer, but surprise, I'm here. So it's so fun. I am so excited to talk about CBIZ Pride. I serve on our national board for it. And I think our our ERGs are so special. And Riley just talking about BIPOC, we often consider BIPOC and Pride sister flames. We started at the exact same time, and there's actually a lot of crossover between our membership. And so, specifically within Pride, we are really intentional because there are still so many people across our offices who don't have the luxury or the ability to be out. And so we want to make sure that if you're spending 40 plus hours a week with someone in an office, you feel like you can be your authentic self. So we create that space, and it's really special and it's really meaningful. And even just this morning, our Pride group, we host a thing called Wisdom Wednesdays, and we talk about some really hard topics. And sometimes they're not like super deep. Sometimes they're like surface level, like just like let's hang out, let's talk. Today it was all about like stress management and like what it looks like to be on social media, and especially now with the landscape we're in, right? And so when you think about your queer identity and how that affects you as a person, you can't shut that off when you go to work. You are who you are full time. And so the basis of our group is to promote and really provide an inclusive and supportive space for our members. Um, it has been so fun to be there to help coach our. We've had team members come to our meetings and be like, I think I need to come out to my office because I'm tired of them saying my wife and I have a husband. And it's like, let's talk about it. And so being able to coach people through that, because you don't necessarily think in your work life it's important, but once again, you have to show up as your whole authentic self. So for us in the Pride group, we are so excited for our programming. We do the Wisdom Wednesdays. We have a CBIZ Pride Got Talent thing coming up because we actually have a lot of people who can like sing and paint and dance and all that stuff. So that'd be exciting. We host parties because we like to party. And so we have Pride events that we do ranging from office bulletin boards where we put up some really cool historical facts to celebrate what Pride Month is. We've done quite a few happy hours, as you can see in the photos. We love a good happy hour. And then we've watched some really cool videos and had discussion. One of our recent video discussions was over the trans experience, and specifically a trans person of color. And so we really utilize our time to be as meaningful as possible, but also having one hell of a good time because we want to make sure that we can create the environment where people want to show up and be themselves. For us, and for all of our ERGs, we encourage you to get involved at all levels. You can be an intern. We've got that I know of 2 current interns who are on there. I know that I have interns I've hired who are now full time who are members of the ERG. So it's really exciting for us. And for us, also, you don't have to be a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. You can be an ally. Matter of fact, we need allies there because that's how we grow as an organization, and safety and comfort and being able to show up as who you are. And so with that, super exciting, fun things happening there, and definitely encourage you if that's something you're interested in and you end up on Team CBIZ, check it out. I'm always happy to talk about it. It is my little baby, and it's so fun. So with that, talk about our other ERGs. I'm going to throw it back over to Carly.
Thank you, Zach. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Women's Advantage program. I recently graduated from the first level of this program here last week. Once again, just a great group of people to really try to extend opportunities to women specifically. So it's really gained a lot of traction. I feel like even within here, our local office here in Indianapolis, we have a great group of people. But what's really exciting about being part of the Women's Advantage program is that you're actually connecting with people from other offices on a national level. So while I know members of the Women's Advantage program here in Indianapolis, I'm meeting and mingling with people all across the nation at CBIZ. So you go through a number of different trainings. So it's professional trainings. You're learning about different things like how to say no, how to prioritize your time. You're learning skills that you can use towards mentorship, how you can improve, whether it's your soft skills, your professional skills, kind of talking about goal setting as well. And one of my favorite topics we discussed was bragging. We always think of bragging as being a negative thing. And we read a book together and decided, hey, we should create bragalogs, like a monologue about bragging about ourselves, because you know what? It's okay to say some positive things that you've done. I encourage all of you to keep in mind what your bragalogs would be and include them in an elevator pitch to a recruiter. It's a great way to use bragging. So, just the goals is really to empower women in this ERG. It really helps foster those personal and professional relationships, and most of all, it's building a great network of women internally here, not only at your local office, but also on a national scale as well. So like I mentioned, we went through graduation. We also have an upcoming dinner that we're going to do to celebrate the women in the Indianapolis office who were members of this ERG. There are different levels to this ERG as well. So you kind of graduate from one and then you can move to the next. I'm also part of a book club that was part of the Women's Advantage program that allows me to read a professional book. And I'm learning so much that I can apply to my professional life, and in turn can speak about to you all as candidates and students to help provide you a better way to improve yourself to land that job, hopefully at CBIZ in your future. Next, I would love to talk about CYP. That's our CBIZ Young Professionals. I'm very passionate about this group because I just think it is so important to get involved early. And that is truly what CYP does. It is led by young professionals at our different office locations. So kind of how Riley mentioned that you have chapters at different offices. And if there's not a chapter at that office, guess what? You could be the leader and you could start that. The goal of this is to really empower our young professionals and give them growth opportunities within the office. It's also just great to collaborate and have that network of maybe people at a level similar to yours. You're just starting out, kind of feel like, how am I going to make my way here in this big organization or just in my career? And CYP is a great way to do that. They have a lot of different programs that they do within CYP. They have mentorship programs within it. They also do what's called Adulting Week. So kind of a virtual presentation, which is awesome. Call it summer school. Don't worry, there's no homework, but you're really learning a lot of different skills that you can use no matter what industry or specific team or group that you're on. Us as recruiters or people in HR can learn the same that a tax associate can learn, or audit team, benefits and insurance. A great time there. I'm very happy to be involved in our local Indianapolis chapter, but I'm also a member of our CYP National Expansion Committee, really focusing on how do we grow this and utilize this to connect all of our young professionals, regardless of where you're at here in the nation. So they do a number of events. I know here in Indianapolis, they make it a goal to do events that connect you both internally with people in the office, but also externally, right? So we're meeting and having, happy hours with a local bank, because guess what? That makes great referral sources for each other. So we try to give you a comfortable environment in a way to get to know others in the community and to build that network. Here are some photos that are actually from the Indianapolis team at CYP. We did a huge game trivia night. There was like 60 to 70 of us. And while it's for young professionals, we say it's young at heart. So we have some of our managing directors, right? Heads of our offices are showing up to these events. We see at the second picture, going to baseball games together, appreciating each other for, hey, sometimes we just need a reward for working hard and have fun with our coworkers and getting to know them on a different level. So lots of great opportunities, lots of events that you can be part of as early as being an intern. You can be involved in a lot of these different activities and reap the benefits of employee resource groups. I'm going to hand it back off.
What up? I'm still here. So what we've got going on now is our CYP mentorship program. And so I'm going to speak to you about this program from the mentor perspective. I currently serve as a mentor. I've got a mentee, and actually she and I met this morning, and it's so fun. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a second. But earlier when we talked about our mission and vision statements, and now that you've heard a little about the ERGs, I hope that you're starting to see that I told you, peel that onion back. And it's about our people. We care about our people here and what that looks like. And this is another layer of that. And so you cannot succeed without mentors in life. I mean, sure, you could do well, but if you have someone there guiding you along the way, challenging you, supporting you, guiding a step, pushing you further to say, you can do better than this. Like, chef's kiss. That's how you really push yourself to grow. And so we have started a mentorship program. And what that does is matches a rising star young professional. Now, who's a rising star? You are. And so you get matched with an experienced professional, and it's a year-long mentorship. You will have designated check-ins. Typically, the cadence that we look at is once a month. Now, depending on you and your mentor's relation, and what you're working on, maybe 1 month you meet weekly, maybe you meet bi-weekly, or you skip a month. Whatever that cadence looks like, it really goes for what your goals are set to be. We want you to focus strategically on your career goal and professional development. So, for example, my mentee, and I don't think she'd care me telling you this, she's newer out of college. She really wants to kind of go a little bit further in her career, but homegirl is terrified to speak up in meetings. Like, she is like, I cannot speak. Like, I melt, and I don't want to look like an idiot. And it's like, well, you're not an idiot. You got the job for a reason. And so a lot of our coaching really centers around how do we build a presence and a brand? Because my thing is, you're an asset to the team, right? Like, you bring a lot of good things, but if you're not speaking up in meetings, you're kind of just sitting there doing your work, sitting in the shadows, no one's going to be able to really kind of be like, oh, let me call on Riley for extra help on this project. Or, oh, Riley's done something really incredible. Let's seek her out. So you get overlooked. We don't want you to be overlooked. And so we're really coaching up on how to speak up in a meeting, even if it's not this groundbreaking idea. It's just making yourself out there and in front of folks. And so that's just a little bit of what folks have worked on. I know another mentor, their goal was they were kind of mid-level professionals, and they wanted to move up and get a promotion. Their mentor helped set them out saying, hey, here's exactly what you need to look at in order to qualify for a promotion. And they worked on that for a year. What do you know? The mentee got promoted. And so that's the benefit of these programs is you set the tone. It's what you need. I, as the mentor, I don't have any skin in the game. I want you to succeed. So you bring to track of, gosh, for me, I didn't know a lot about public accounting. I come from a higher ed background. I spent 7 years working on college campuses. I failed college algebra with a 38%. We rounded that baby up to a D plus, and I said, we're good to go. Calculators exist for a reason, y'all. And so for me in this business, one of my goals with my mentor was, I need to read books. I need to read articles. I need to understand what the heck the CPA is. And so those are some of the things that you're working with your mentor throughout the program. And so you are also put in like pod groups. You'll get to collaborate with other folks in the program and kind of hear what they're doing, create that connection. All, once again, circles back to this one CBIZ connection. We are all working for the same goal. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. When one fails, we all fail. And so we want to keep building that ladder. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Ants. It's in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And they're like up the ant hill. Yeah, that's us. That's the mentorship program. We're trying to get you up and out of the flooding waters. So it's a lot of fun. And I think when you participate in programs like these, you find a better sense of belonging. And when you feel like you belong somewhere, your heart just feels better about what you're doing. And it's a lot more fun. You're not waking up saying, damn it, I have got to go to work today. But it's more like, okay, I'm going to work. Like, you don't have to be like jumping for joy every day, because Lord knows I'm not. Money exists for a reason. You have to have a job for it. And so, but it at least makes it more exciting. It makes it more worth waking up to go to work for. And so with that, this mentorship program, once again, open to our young professionals, matches with folks. You put in kind of what you're looking for. They match you with a mentor who kind of aligns with that and goes from there. And so the hope is, as you kind of graduate from the program, one day you turn around and you become a mentor. And so it's kind of giving back. And if you've recently seen Mufasa in the movie theaters, it's the circle of life, but it's the circle of CBIZ, actually. And so I won't sing the song for you, because I know that will just put you all like into an emotional state, and we can't deal with that right now. But if we want to go to the next slide, I can talk to you a little bit more. about some other things. So when we talk about our people matter, we've talked about like the emotional side and like the identity sides, right? For the ERGs, making sure you have a sense of belonging. But when we talk about hard skills, actually doing your job and what you're hired for, we set you up for as much success as possible. Once you graduate, this is a hard life lesson, and I think a lot of people kind of skip it. But once you graduate, you are not done learning. You have got to continually be a learner of the world. Things change, and it's hard because you're like, oh, I just learned this. It's so fun. And then 5 minutes later, a new regulation comes out. You're like, what the F? Excuse my language. I didn't actually say it, so that was a plus for me. But with that, we want to make sure that you are set up for success. So we offer you several different programming, leadership training, professional training, all those kind of realms of stuff. Lost my words there, sorry. To help make sure that you are set up for success. So some of the cool things for our technical training, we have the new manager orientation. Fun fact, that was supposed to be this week in Kansas City, but we had a blizzard, so we canceled it. My man Brandon in the chat, who's from Kansas City, knows that the snow was wild. And so with that, all of our new managers are sent there, and they go over in depth what the heck it means to be a manager, what your responsibilities are. They set you up with tools and frameworks, all that stuff. You also have the associate professional development and senior. Once again, when you get to a new level, you're going through this training. A lot of these trainings happen in person, and so they're flying you in from wherever you're at to one centralized location. Because once again, you're building that network. You are now in a room with Carly. You're in a room with Donna. You're in a room with Jackie, Jessica, Andy. You're all there together saying, we are all chickens without heads. Let's find them together. And it's a lot of fun because then you go back to your offices, you're like, holy crap, this actually worked. This is so fun. Like, I know what I'm doing a little bit now. And so with that, you get the technical training that you need there. You will never, ever be left to wondering, what am I doing? How do I do this? You don't have to go to Chat GPT and be like, how do I do my job? Because we are your Chat GPT. These trainings are. We also do the non-technical programming, so self-management, leadership skills. A lot of these roles, as bump up in your career, you're going to be in charge of managing people. Managing people is hard. I don't know if you have pets, but those are hard too, because sometimes you want to be like, go to the bathroom. And they're like, no, I'm going to eat all the snow and make you stand outside in the freezing cold with me. And it's like, darn you, dog. But I love you because you're cute. So people are kind of similar in the sense of, well, how do I be your boss? What does that look like? How do I make sure that we go through our day and you meet your goals and I'm supporting you through that? So we're going to teach you what that looks like. And then basically we've got the Emerging Managing Director Academy. That's actually kind of really cool. That is something that I love because that's saying, yo, I think that I see my friend Jared said Zach GPT, so I'm here for it. So I'm going to use you in this example. Jared is an incredible staff member. He's a valuable asset to our team. We hashtag love him, hashtag one CBIZ. And I'm going to assign him, I'm going to refer him to this program called EMDA because I think he's got what it takes to be a managing director. And so it's this really incredible experience for you to say, I see this. I see this in your pathway. Let's set you up for success. So you go through this. It's a year, I think, a year or 2 years, and you go through this program, and it basically gets you ready and set up. So by the time you finish this program, boom, promoted to a managing director, which is a big deal, and also a crap ton more money. So like we should all be aspiring to be a managing director. And so with that, you have the opportunity to grow to gosh, I'm looking at my plants now. I'm like, how do we like nourish you with the sunshine and water? And that's what the EMDA is. We are teaching you and we are growing you into this beautiful Monstera plant. And it's so fun. So all that to say, now that I'm rambling again, is that you will be set up with some really cool, incredible program for learning development that you'd be able to take advantage of. And it's open to everyone. And so depending on your level, you have very specific courses you take, but it's there for you. So I'm going to reel myself back into the boat and fish it over to Carly for the next slide.
Okay. Now, we just wanted to kind of share with you what a career here at CBIZ looks like, because I know sometimes we get a few questions on where do I go? I know Zach talked a lot about our great programs that can help prepare you to accelerate your career. The way we always like to describe it is your career is in your hands, truly. So you want to work hard, you want to fast track your way to managing director. You're going to know how to do it. But we also understand that, there are some that want to hit a certain level and based on that work-life balance, and they're comfortable with that as well. We just like to be very open and honest with how do these transitions happen. Now, if you talk to any other public accounting firm, you'll find that it's pretty similar, right? So kind of these stages and these steps are very typical. I think supervisor might be a little different. Some accounting firms have that while others don't. But truly, there is no set limitation as to how many quote unquote years you have to be in each level after you hit kind of that senior associate level, right? So maybe that from that associate to senior associate, typically looking at a year or two there. And then, of course, passing and having that CPA exam. And I'll talk about partners here really quick. That CPA exam is kind of that differentiator, right, of being able to move and then review work. So you have to pass that CPA exam to kind of move along. But besides that, you're driving your career. Now I saw kind of a question like partners, question mark. Our partners that you can think of are managing directors. So kind of the same thing there. So if you hear partners at other firms, in fact, Indianapolis was once an accounting firm that was acquired by CBIZ, and we called all of our head honchos partners. And so for a while, I was like, oh, partner. They're now managing directors. Did their role change? No, not at all. But that's kind of the head of our organization. But something I also like to really bring up is the way CBIZ operates, that local feel that we mentioned when we first ever introduced who we were. You will find that at each of our offices, that there is not going to be a huge separation of an associate and a managing director. The open door policy, the culture of being able to ask questions. You'll never feel like you are stuck and siloed off with people in your position and that these managing directors are the untouchables in the office. In fact, our managing directors here in Indianapolis get together with our interns. They want to get to know them because they understand that growth is so important and they too want you to accelerate. Another thing to mention kind of in regards to promotions, and I hate using the term climbing a ladder because I feel like sometimes it feels a little negative. But here's the good news. Here at CBIZ, you don't have to wait for someone to die, get fired, or quit for you to move along in your career. It is based on your performance. So that's good news. And you want to know why that's good? Because you're not competing against the person next to you. You're competing against yourself. And I think it just really creates a great environment of if I do my job great, my buddy does their job great, we're all great, we'll all earn and be able to move up whatever your goal is. So keep in mind, yes, these are the stepping stones of your career, but you drive it. And your mentors and the programs that we have will help you navigate and be able to reach the goal that you're hoping to achieve. Along with that, and just kind of talking even more about education is really important here. So newsflash, you're in school forever, but you don't have homework. So Sunday night isn't as scary, which is nice. But just kind of talking through some of the educational programs that we have here. So we do have Mind Learn activities. So some of those are more kind of do when you want and kind of on your own time online courses. Some of these are required courses that we all take here nationally. Others are more specific according to the team that you're on or different technical skills. We have quick help, nice short tutorials. Sometimes you want to ask a question or you kind of feel like, let me do my due diligence first and try to seek out my own answer before asking that question. So we make sure we have those resources. Our career advisor program as well. I know we talk about our mentor program. You're given an advisor, you can be provided a mentor, you can be given a buddy. All of this is just to say that you have a lot of coaching and a lot of people that are built in to support you. That is their additional role, is to be a support for you. Of course, if you are studying accounting or you're familiar with that, I know we're talking a lot about accounting. Once again, keep in mind, we have openings for other other positions as well. Accounting is just a little bit of the majority. You are required to have that continuous professional education, right? Passing CPA exam, still needed to do a few CPE events. What's great is that CBIZ will bring those to you kind of in-house. They like spoon feed you opportunities to be able to get those credits, which is great. Also kind of a perk of ours, you have free Becker CPA study materials. The second you sign a full-time offer with us, you could call us the next day and say, hey, where are my Becker study materials? And we'll get those to you. So we definitely really encourage you to pursue your CPA. We do have tuition reimbursement opportunities available. There are some kind of rules around that, right? It has to do more with education, kind of post your graduation and while you're here working at CBIZ, but just knowing that's an opportunity. And then our national trainings. We have national trainings for a number of our different levels here at CBIZ, but not only do we have national trainings, which are awesome because then you get to maybe travel, go to Phoenix, go to Florida, you get to meet your peers at different offices, all come together. But we also have regional trainings. We have local trainings. So once again, we are a large top 7, 10,000 person firm. You're not going to always feel like that. And that's a good thing. You're not going to get lost in the shuffle. So yes, we have national trainings, national backing, but we're going to narrow it down and focus in on personalized training for you as well. So lots of support. There are no stupid questions, right? We're always here to help you throughout your career so that you can be successful. If you're successful, our clients are successful, and then CBIZ is successful overall. Now I'm going to hand it back off to Riley.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've talked a lot about the career progression path that exists here at CBIZ, the resources there to help you do that, but how do we measure success? How are you actually going to progress? The CBIZ success standards are really a competency model that define the core skills and key behaviors required at each level and just aid in your career growth overall, all the way from associate to managing director. They're there to help employees understand what is expected in their roles and to provide a clear path of advancement within the firm. And they really link all aspects of talent management. Oftentimes you're going to think of these related to evaluation, but they also do come into play with development and recognition as well, and really just ensures that overall cohesive approach to managing and developing our team. So we can walk through these 6 competencies really quickly and really what they encompass. Technical expertise is going to be the proficiency within specific technical areas related to your role. Client experience is very important. We're working with clients in these sorts of positions. So it's really your ability to manage and enhance those client relationships. Talent development is your ability to mentor and develop other team members. Revenue growth is really your focus on maintaining existing business, bringing in new business, and continuing to grow our business overall. Operational excellence is going to be your ability to optimize processes, improve productivity and efficiency, and leadership is going to be your ability to guide and influence other team members towards a certain goal. Now, these 6 competencies are going to look very, very different for an associate compared to a manager, compared to a managing director, but they're still going to exist at every level. So you will see these time and again reflected in conversations surrounding performance, training materials, your career paths, and the recognition of team members, with the goal being that you have a clear roadmap and can kind of look within each of these what's expected for you to succeed in your role and move on to the next level. So we like having that clearly defined so you know exactly what you have to do to continue, again, hate the term, but climbing up the ladder to your next step in your career. So on the topic of opportunities, Carly, can we move to the next slide? We have a lot of opportunities here at CBIZ to kick off your career. We offer spring internships, which typically fall within tax, audit, sometimes a combination of both, and advisory. These typically run from January through April, so really offering you that opportunity to experience a public accounting busy season. It's certainly a unique place to be, a lot of energy and a lot of things happening. We also offer summer internships, which typically take place through June and July, sometimes running a little bit into August, which typically fall within tax, audit, and advisory as well. And then once you're ready for a full-time role, we do have a variety of associate positions, which offer the next step within audit, tax, or advisory. We do hire on a rolling basis. I know we get a lot of questions about deadlines and things like that, and it does differ office to office. So I definitely recommend keeping an eye out on our CBIZ careers site, on Handshake. I believe you guys are on Handshake. We post a lot there. And also just keeping an eye out for events and new posting that align with your interests. We're pretty active on LinkedIn and things like that too, as well as our CBIZ Careers Instagram page. So definitely always recommend keeping an eye out on all of those resources for opportunities to join our team. So with that, I believe that is all we have prepared for you today on our side. I really appreciate the time you have spent with us this afternoon. So this QR code will bring you to an interest form linked so that we can keep in touch. And then, I don't know, do we have time for questions or?
Yeah, I think we have a few moments still. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. Also, if you feel like you kind of want to ask them offline, feel free to jot down all of our email addresses. Even if you don't feel like we're the appropriate recruiter based on the location, we can always direct you to the right source. But this QR code is going to be your best way to get in touch with the correct people based on what you're interested in. I'd also just say, head us on LinkedIn. Here are individual names. We will all post opportunities about CBIZ if you're not already following CBIZ as well. And absolutely, Jackie, I see a question coming in. Can you be hired as an associate without being an intern first? Absolutely. I think every single office kind of looks for great people and great talent. And we understand sometimes we're just not able to make an internship work based on timing. You absolutely.
Carly, I think you muted yourself, sister.
You know what's funny, Zach? I was making fun of you, and then karma made me mute myself because I was like, Zach wants to answer questions about Wicked. And then it muted me because it knew I was being sassy. What does the application process look like? What do you seek? So our applications are available online. If you go to CBIZ or careers.com, careers.cbiz.com, go on CBIZ website, click on careers, click on early opportunities. Maybe someone can drop the link here really quick about that. You can fill out an online application. It'll only take you about 10 minutes or so. We're looking for, the history of work, or, what are you doing here in school? What are you studying? A few basic questions. Your appropriate recruiter will then reach out to you and kind of discuss a few more, maybe additional questions to learn more about you to see if we line up for the position you're looking at. As far as remote versus in person, every position's a little different. The recruiter will be able to tell you, or even on that online application, like, is it hybrid, right? Is it fully in person? Is it remote? I will say a majority of our positions are either hybrid or in person. We don't have as many remote opportunities at that internship level. So just be aware of that. But your recruiter will be able to tell you expectations for that specific role. You absolutely do not have to wait to apply. Sorry, guys, I'm just like powering through these questions. You do not have to wait to apply to a position after graduation. We will ask you, like, when do you plan to graduate? And we'll kind of anticipate that. So you, by all means, can apply early and we'll have that discussion. And if we feel like a different position at a different year would be best fit for you, you'll have that conversation with your assigned recruiter. If you are looking, 2026, apply now if you're interested in an internship. And any advice that you're entering back into the workforce after a while after graduation, I think honestly, be a sponge, ask questions, ask educated questions, but also have the confidence of knowing that you have something to offer. I feel like Zach always brings up bringing your authentic self. Have a confidence. You talked about his mentee working on speaking up. I think great advice is just to be that sponge and learn how to ask questions, do your due diligence to find your own answers, and you meet as many people as possible so you have lots of informal and formal mentors. I try to run through that anything else, relocation assistance. For my markets, we do not have that. I don't believe that's something that we have across CBIZ, but we have very competitive pay. So we'll be good with that. Company dress code can kind of vary based on the location that you're at. We got Zach. Zach just went and chopped down some trees as he is a lumberjack. I'm just kidding. But different from varying offices, obviously, because we have the West Coast isn't going to dress like the East Coast would, right? It's a big variety. So anywhere from casual, business casual, but we will always kind of communicate that to you as well.
Carly,
What
just-
happens to, yeah.
Sorry. I see Melina has her hand raised.
Oh,
and you might
yeah.
need to see that on
Go
your end,
ahead,
so.
unmute. Yep.
Hi. I feel better like asking my question not through the chat. So, my name is Melena Leon Hidalgo, and I recently graduated from college, from Berea College back in May. And then I start my master's degree this January. I have already passed 3 CPA exams, but I don't have any prior experience in public accounting. Like, as soon as I graduated, I got all of those exams out of my way. So now I'm in the process of actually like applying for jobs. And one of my questions when I was getting ready to apply is that if I should try to apply for internships first or go ahead and apply for full-time positions.
So my recommendation would be to go for that full-time position based on you already passing some of those CPA exams and the level that you're at. You're definitely at a different level than interns are. And like we mentioned earlier, you do not have to have an internship with us to achieve a full-time position. So I would encourage you to look and apply to our full-time associate roles.
Okay, thank you. And then I already applied to 3 internships before asking this question back in December.
That's okay too.
But how do I fill out the interest form, and is that how I get in contact with you guys and you can help me through the process?
Yep, absolutely. If you fill out that interest form, we'll reach out to you. Or if you want to be even more proactive and if you want to go online, like we talked about on the careers page of our CBIZ website, you'll be able to locate the specific job opportunities that you're interested in, and then the appropriate recruiter will reach out to you. So we'll have job postings now for 2025 and 2026 full time, should both be posted at this time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Can I take Denise's question real quick?
Yes, you can.
All right, Denise. So we provide in our benefits a premium account with Sitter City. I am not a parent. I'm an uncle to 11 little monsters, but I don't. I'm the babysitter, so I just throw them away, or not throw them away. Sorry, I give them back to their parents. Sorry. That came out way wrong. But you do have the benefit for that. And so with that gives you that premium account to help you find childcare or babysitters. Your local office maybe has something that's not something that I don't think we've really dove into. But that's definitely something to look into. I know that for us and our benefits, we're constantly looking to see like how do we better, once again, care about our people and know that a lot of our folks are working parents. So for right now, I think probably the maximum benefit that you'll see is that Sitter City account. But going forward, maybe some other benefits could roll from that.
Okay, Dimitri, I see that you had a question regarding like best case scenario, intern, what happens after your internship? We view internships the same way you do. It's an extended interview with the hopes, fingers crossed, of making a job offer after. Let's say for some reason there isn't a position or something happens and that local office doesn't have an opening. I've gone through this where you might intern in Indianapolis and you're interested in being in Chicago. Here's what kind of happens there. One, you still would probably interview with that other office, right? Because that team would want to interview you. But two, you're going to be able to have the record of an internship here at CBIZ at another office who hopefully you do a great job, will vouch for you and be able to talk to that other leadership team and say, you know what, so-and-so was awesome. We, for whatever reason, didn't have capacity, but we recommend them. So that's going to hold some weight as well. So it's not a shoe-in that if you intern in one area that you absolutely get a role at a different office. There's a lot of kind of moving parts, but it definitely helps, right? Having that internship gets your foot in the door.
All right. Well, I do recognize it is 5 o'clock and I want to be respectful of your time. Um, if there are no other questions, and contact information is there on the slide, so please, again, as Carly mentioned, as everyone mentioned, feel free to reach out to them if you have any other questions. But we're going to go ahead and stop at this point. Just want to say thank you to our amazing speakers. Really appreciate you guys going over, especially the culture part, because I think that is one of the things that is so hard to gauge from a job posting or even a website. So really, really appreciate you going over that. And thank you for everyone for joining us. I put the link for our little survey in the chat, but I'll follow up with this recording and the link again at a later time. So thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day or night, depending on where you're at.
Thanks so much for arranging this. Appreciate everyone joining.